Hi, welcome to class. We're the only two right now, but the other ones will show up eventually, right? I hate my life. I hate my life. And Professor Sunreis Productions! Hello class, Professor Sunreis here. So after spending the first few days after the ban list completely blazed on Copium trying to break Snow, Brave, Thunder, 60 card pile stuff thing, I can finally say I'm sober again. And with big drug abuse usually comes either an overdose or big enlightenment, and luckily I have a big enlightenment. The enlightenment is that 40 cards doesn't have to be the end all be all for deck building. Usually I was a very big advocate for playing 40 cards and nothing more. But today's list I have a 50 card Brave PK version and I'm really happy with how it plays out. So let's just get into the list, and I'm gonna give you my reasoning for why I built the deck in 50 cards, what my Metacall is going to be for the early meta, and way more. So let's just get into the deck list. So this is the deck list, and the main reason why I feel like that playing more than 40 cards is totally fine in a deck like this is that you don't really have that one broken starter which you always want to see. Of course you have your Brave engine and you have your good PK cards, but they all just act like as the same. You just need 2 level 3s, especially 2 PKs, and you're good to go. So it doesn't really matter what you draw, you just need a way to into Cherubini, and that's basically it. So you don't lose a lot of value, especially because you can't use normal summon effects, and so you don't have cards like Tour Guide or Taunt Scales, who are just way better normal summons than anything else you could ask for. Because of the Brave engine, of course. So because of that reason, we don't really have that impactful cards anymore. So just going on to like 45, 50 cards, or even maybe 60 cards, and just putting in more generic extenders and more defensive cards, just so that you don't draw your bricks as often, is I feel like a very good trade-off. I feel like with this version, I don't really lose a lot of power, a lot of good one-card starters, because we just still have a lot of them anyways. And in turn, I just draw less bricks, which is for me a very good trade. So let's just go card by card, and I'm going to talk about each engine, each little card for a little bit, I guess. So firstly, we have the 3 Aquamancers. This is by far the best card of the Brave engine, of course. This is an extender and a starter, just what you want to have more for a card. This is so bloated, it's unreal what this card does. Once you start playing with it, you will definitely notice it. 3 Ride. I decided to play 3 Ride just because we're on 50 cards, and you could play 2 if you play less, but just max out, it's one of the best cards in the deck. 1 Foolish, of course, still a broken card. It either sends Aquamancer to get into Brave engine, it can also send Cloak or Gloves, I guess, but that's mostly it for the PK engine, so it acts as a level 3 extender as well. Griffin Rider, still he's amazing to draw with Ride, and without Ride to draw, I guess it's a free extender to go into Anaconda, Doctor, stuff like that. Draco Bag, I still feel like you should play him. Playing 50 cards make it so that you don't draw it as often, and it's just a free search in a deck which uses like 2 discards in a combo. Also helps you break boards and helps you play under Scythe, because I feel like this deck can kind of play under Scythe, especially if you side stuff like Alpha, but we'll get into that, because you just have a bounce and an Omni Negate under Scythe, so that's already pretty good. Of course, we play the 1 Fateful Adventure. This is like the brick of the Brave engine. For PKs, we still play the 3 Taunt, 3 Boots, the best extender in the deck by far, 2 Cloak, 1 Gloves. We play the 1 Greaves because a lot of our plays will start with the Boots, so we still want the rank 3 level 3 extender of the Cloak. Actually, I thought about cutting 1 Taunt Scales and putting in 1 Gloves. Reason for that is, if you draw like Rite of Armisia and Taunt Scales, and your Rite gets Ash, you don't really have a lot to do. Basically nothing. You can just end on Anaconda and stuff like that. But if you draw Gloves instead, we can play the 1-card combo into Almirage thanks to Brigadine to actually end on Brave Engine plus an Anaconda being the Enforcer, of course. So as a 1-card starter, Gloves or Cloak just do more than Taunt Scales. Reason I'm still playing 3 Taunt Scales is that if we only draw Taunt Scales, it's better to draw than a Gloves. So if we don't draw the Brave engine anyways, we can just use a basic Taunt Scales combo to end on something. So in that case, it's better to draw on its own than the Gloves, so I still feel like I'm going to play the 3 just for that reason alone. Of course, we play 1 Rotor. This is starter, extender, everything we want. For the traps, it's pretty standard. You definitely need 1 trap that is not Fog Blade. I tried testing it without. It just doesn't feel right. You can't really end on Dacta all too often. So we go with that. Of course, we play the 3 Brigandine because we want the 1-card combo, also just a nice searchable extender. Just gives your PK engine just a little more to do, especially if you draw a lot of it, which you don't really want to do. 2 Fusion Destiny, of course, new format, etc. I'm fine with it. I was always a fan of playing 2 Fusion Destiny just because it's kind of bad going second. In a deck like this with 50 cards, I would play, of course, I would play 3, but we can't play that anymore, so I'm not doing it. We played the 2 Bricks, nothing changed for that. We play the Italy package for extenders. We play 6 extenders. I'm not too sure about the Kagemucha Knight. I might cut this for another defensive card, but there were times where I really wanted to search a Kagemucha Knight of the reinforcements. So there's that. But this just plays into there can only be 1. So I'm not too sure about that. The Italy package is really good though. Italy just being a free send for droplet is super clutch, and just being a non-warrior extender just comes up. So we have 6 extenders for that. So that usually means we draw one of them. They really help us to play into hand traps and boards, but we don't really want more than 1 of them. So I feel like 6 is definitely a fine number, because we of course have in archetype extenders as well with Boots and Aquamancer. So we definitely would play way more than just 6 extenders, but like basically these act just only as extenders and nothing else. So I'm fine with that. For defensive cards, as you see, we can actually play quite a few. I'm definitely still on the triple droplet because it's like basically the only card which lets us play into boards. I'll play the 1 Lancia. It's really good in the mirror, but it's mostly just there for a crossout target. 1 Lancia should be fine though, because PK gonna be everywhere. Against Eldritch and Flounder, it should also be fine. So I feel like 1 is fine. Maybe I want to play 2. Maybe for the Kagemucha Knight, I would probably play 1 Lancia or 1 Nib. But we'll get to the Nib later. 2 Ash, 2 Ogre. These are level 3 hand traps. Ogre being an Italy target as well. But just also really good against Brave Engine. 1 Imperm, mostly for crossout. We don't really want to draw it as it conflicts with Brigandine. 2 Crossout. Reason for crossout is that we play an auto win combo against combo decks. Just scythe locking them with droplet protection and an Omni Negate basically makes it so that they have to have like 2 to 3 defensive cards to stop our combo from resolving. So just playing the 1 crossout to protect myself from droplets, hand traps while comboing, I feel like is super strong. Also, we are probably playing the best deck in the format, at least for now, once the format shifts, because I feel like Brave PK is the best deck right now, and this will make it so that a lot of people are gonna play Eldritch and Flanders, so stuff that can play under Scythe, because it's really hard to counter Scythe with just defensive cards, as you actually just need 2 cards to play, like in double Imperm or like droplet Imperm, stuff like that. So it's really unlikely that you can actually play once the combo resolves. So I feel like just playing the 2 crossouts just really strong, just to make sure we resolve the combo, and because we're playing the best deck on the format, or just Brave in general, which is going to be a splash into so many decks, we actually have a crossout which is probably going to be alive a lot of times. So I'm kind of happy with how that worked out. I haven't tested it too much, sadly, because of the hard Copium phase of like sniffing Copium all day, trying to break Thunder, but then Colossus came from the sky and told me it's not time yet. I have to wait. He told me, he's like, son, wait, your time is going to come. It's not now though. So sadly I haven't tested too much, but in my theory I feel like these should be very, very good. And in my brief testing so far, they've been performing pretty well. 1 Talents, 1 Called By. These are just defensive cards going first, / crossout targets as well. Talents should be fine. Maybe I want to play 2 because it's really good going second into Sword Soul boards. And then the 1 Scythe. Actually, I'm not ending on Scythe a lot. Funnily enough, crossout becomes a defensive cards against the Scythe combo as well, so that's pretty good. But yeah, Scythe is actually kind of hard for this deck to end on, and it's kind of weird. You need to have a very good hand to end on this, but it's 50 cards. If we hard draw it, we can just set it and force it. We will always end on an Enforcer anyways, so that's fine. It's just extra. So for the extra deck, we play 3 Breaksword. The 2 Breaksword is still pretty standard. 1 Levia, also pretty standard. The Downer Zeus package to break boards. For the Enforcer package, we play Almirage Link Spider, so we have the 1-card combos of normal summoning a cloak, linking it into Almirage, banish it, search Brigandine, summon Brigandine, link it into Link Spider. Then we have 2 effect monsters for Anaconda, and the Enforcer, of course. For combo, we have Cherubini, Dacta, and Rusty. That's pretty standard. Cherubini just being able to send Aquamancer is so broken. Decta for the Scythe play, of course, and Rusty just for PK in general. For generic links, I play the Phoenix. I'm not too sure about it. It could be nice to out there can only be once, but that's basically it. But there can only be one is also the Floodgate, which hurts the most. I'm thinking about cutting this for maybe like an Evil Swarm Nightmare, or number 80. The rank 4, which banishes 2 out of the opponent's graveyard because they're going to be a whole shit ton of PK people running around, and that card is going to be huge against them. 1 Unicorn, 1 access code to go for game. And for the side deck, I'm not too sure about the side deck yet. All of these cards are already very good against back row decks. These could be evenly or like Red Reboot plus Duster, but I really like the versatility of being able to side these in against Invoke Dogma to just out the Schism. So there's that. I'm not too sure about it yet. The side deck is not really completed just because the meta is very early and it's hard to make direct calls, especially for a side deck like that. I mean, I can make the call, but I'm not too sure if it's going to be a correct call. 3 Judgment for going first and for going against back row / stun decks, and against combo / good decks. No, just kidding. We have the 2 Lancia for the mirror, 2 Alpha, because I feel like with Brave Engine and Alpha you can break boards so easily, even under the Scythe lock. So just having like 1 Brave card, they Scythe lock us, we play the Alpha, we try it out as board, and then we play with a Brave Engine. It's also really good against the Sword Soul matchup, which I'm not too sure if it's gonna stick around. But Alpha basically outs their board on its own. So that's pretty good. And 2 Nib. Reason why I'm not playing Nib in the main deck, even though we're playing Crossroad, is I feel like a lot of people will not play Nib in the main deck whatsoever. Just because of the sheer amount of Brave PK running around, having just an Omni Negate for it, so it's not really that impactful. And then the disgusting amount of Eldritch and Flunder, which is probably going to get played to answer set PK deck, where Nibiru also doesn't do anything. So I put it in the side, just to side it in against the matchup where it matters. And post side, I feel like people could start to put the Nibirus in. And this is where then I will still have the Nibiru as a crossout target anyways. So that was basically it for my theory of the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's very early to tell, like I said, if this is the correct approach to the deck, but I feel like playing a version of Brave PK with Scythe is correct, and then going up to 50 cards just feels totally fine. I haven't felt like I lost a lot of power in this deck. I feel like I just gained a shit ton of consistency by not drawing the Brave bricks or the PK bricks nearly as often as they used to be. But that's basically it. You guys are dismissed. You can do whatever you want. Don't do too much Copium. Don't try to break Thunders without Colossus. It's still not enough. If Gold Stock comes to 3, maybe you can start Break Thunder again in a combo deck. But not now. Don't waste your time like I did. That has been. You guys are dismissed, like I said. Class is out. Professor Sunreis out as well. See ya.
My son, it's me, Colossus. It's okay. You don't have to break me yet. The time will come for me to rule the meta again and make a safe haven for all control decks to not get obliterated by combo. It's okay. Rest well, my son. The time will come. The time will come.
I should definitely sleep more. What the fuck?